It's Sunday morning, and every decent man and woman is listening to Test Miles with Nick Miles on FM News 101 KXL. Buckle in.
It's Sunday morning. It's time to talk cars for the next 60 minutes on your weekly automotive experience. I'm Nick Miles, and you're listening to America's Automotive Radio Show. Keep connected with FM News 101 KXL. Test Miles, locally created, nationally celebrated. On today's show, we're going to talk about the cars that we've been driving. Sparky is here from Camera Cars, as well as Rusty Gill from Ridge Motorsports Park. They have some news to impart to us. We'll be talking to ACP. If you're not familiar with him, he's the X Games athlete, and he has just completed the Alcan Rally. And Ryan will be here from Afterglow telling us about some new products that he's tested. So a packed show this morning. So what have I been driving? I have been driving the first BMW 3 Series that I really like.
Really?
I was not a big fan of the 3 Series before this version of the car. They were obviously the bar for the performance sedan. They were what everybody tried to meet. They were the car that everybody aspired to be. And now the BMW team have come up with a 340i, the next generation of 3 Series. It's very much better than anything else I've driven in its class so far. Still anticipating the Alfa Romeo Giulia, which is coming soon. It has that very beautiful 3 Series look. It has a very nicely put together brand new engine, a 3-liter twin power turbo inline 6 24-valve engine. Combines a twin scroll turbocharger with variable valve control. I will tell you that exciting is probably a very mild word for it. 320 horsepower, 6-speed manual, the one I've been driving. It does come in a 6-speed automatic as well. Rear-wheel drive, of course, being a BMW. 33 miles a gallon, top fuel economy. What does it go up against? Jaguar's new E-Type, also the Mercedes-Benz C450 and the AMG version. Audi have the new A4 coming, I think, next week, so that'll go up against it as well. What does it, I guess, rank in money like? Expensive. Starts at $46,000. The one I happen to be driving is closer to $60,000. That is about $14,000 of extras. However, amazing car. It also has the auto shift to park. When the engine is turned off, it'll automatically go into park. The scroll pad, which you can do the writing on with the iDrive. The iDrive has always been something that's been kind of rusty, difficult for people to get used to. Now, in the middle of the iDrive, they have this scroll pad. So if I want to write, my street down, we're on 5th Avenue here in downtown Portland. If I just write 5TH, it'll know it's 5th, and it'll tell you on the screen, oh, you want to go to 5th Avenue. Very intuitive, nice vehicle. So I'm looking forward to spending the rest of the week in that. Even though my travels begin again this week, it's an awesome piece of machinery. What's on the show today? Well, welcome to the studio. Both Rusty and Sparky are here. You may remember Rusty has the Ridge Motorsports Park as part of his organization, and that is up in Shelton, Washington. This is what the website says about it, and it was the best explanation, so I thought I'd read it directly from the website. The Ridge Motorsports Park is the Pacific Northwest's premier destination motorsports complex. The Ridge is located near the city of Shelton, between the picturesque Cascade and Olympic Mountain Range in Mason County, the birthplace of racing in Washington State, USA. Set in a relaxed rural natural forest environment with stunning views of Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens, only a minute from the Olympic National Forest and scenic Hood Canal. The Ridge Motorsports Park is centrally positioned to serve the major populations of the centers of Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, as well as British Columbia. That is probably the best explanation I've ever heard of the park, because first of all, it's an amazing track to drive, but when you get up there, you just, it's going to be hard to follow the track lines because you're just looking at the scenery the whole time. It's absolutely beautiful up there. So, guys, a lot going on at the park. You have events coming up this year?
Yeah, we've got a booked out season already this year, and people are already looking at 2017, 2018, and things are going really good up at the park. The only thing they left out of the description there is they forgot to put in there, and I'll have to talk to Fred Wright, our GM, about that. But we got to put on there the bucket list factor of this track. This is
you
definitely
have to drive it.
Yeah, well, this is definitely one of the tracks that not only is it premier in the Pacific Northwest, but it's going to be premier in the nation. And we're hoping to get things up to this track that are going to be able to bring motorsports back to the Pacific Northwest and race professional racing series that we can get out and show racing on the world stage.
The track itself, there's two or three things about the track we should mention. First of all, the last turn on the track, if you're not paying attention, you're going to be in big trouble, right? It's pretty tight.
Yeah, we've had some differing opinions on that. It mimics the corkscrew at Laguna Seca, but it's a little bit tighter than the corkscrew at Laguna Seca, and so it's a little bit heavier braking zone. It sneaks up on you. I think it sneaks up on you a little tougher than Laguna.
I will tell you, I drove that track I was a passenger in an Audi Q7, and we got to that last, and we were doing like 35. It was too fast to take that corner in an Audi Q7. You might be able to go faster in a more race archetypal type car, but it's a tough corner, and it's almost like a 300-degree turn. You come almost right back on yourself.
Yeah, it's a hard switchback left up on the top of that's what we call the Signature Ridge complex at the facility, and there's about 80 or 90 vertical feet of elevation drop coming from the turn of 13 to the apex of 15. So I think it flows really well. It is a tough turn, and it's something that you have to you definitely got to work at, along with a lot of other things in that track, to be able to get the precision of the track down and turn a good lap time.
In my brain, I think about 30 motorcycles or 20 cars trying to make that corner at once, and I'm like, whoa, this is going to get nasty. Because it is. It's like, it's a tough turn on that. But the other thing about the track, which I love, I mean, it's a great track, and I always say I've only driven it in an Audi Q7. I haven't had a chance to go around there with anything that probably really counts on a track. But you have a go-kart track, which is identical to the main track. It's just a fifth of the size.
Yes, it's exact replica, and to our knowledge, it's the only one in the States that's a replicated road course. And so not only does it have the same layout, but it's got the same elevation change and dynamics of the big track. So you can actually have a true road race experience on our kart track without having to go buy a full-on race car and get on the big track.
Yeah, I like that idea. And of course, when you do events down there, you can also break out the karts and people can get on the go-kart track and go around it and have a lot of fun. So what's happening at the track? You're getting lots of big races. You're getting more attention. I should ask you, too, and we're going to have you back in the third break to talk about this, but I should ask you, how did this come about? Because I know you have a construction background, but it's more road making, right?
Yes and no. My construction background is basically in big commercial development, underground utilities, earth moving, civil construction. So it comes natural. There's a lot of dirt moving and a lot of civil construction to put down the roads and the infrastructure and stuff for the park. So this has been built in conjunction with my partner, Joe Mankey, and honestly speaking, the facility wouldn't have been built. The two of us getting together and getting this put together is what built this facility, and Joe's been a very integral part of that as well.
I met Joe once for a few minutes, and my immediate impression of him is very quiet, really nice guy, but he is a guy that gets stuff done. You could just tell by looking in his eyes if it needs to happen, and Joe wants it happens. Yeah, right?
There's no messing around with Joe. I mean, he's the nicest guy in the world, but I'll tell you, when it's go time, there's nobody that puts the pedal down harder than he does.
Right. I just got that gut feeling about him. Like he'll give you anything out of his pocket, but when he needs something getting done on his track, it gets done.
Oh, exactly. And and that transfers into his driver position too. When I first got into driving, and I'm a rookie at this, and I've only been racing, 1 year, one season I've had really under my belt, and I've probably had 6 or 7 races that I've been in total. But so I talked to Joe before I went out, and the first thing I did is I went out, burned a couple of laps, and decided what car I was going to buy, and I went out and bought a GT2 car. So jumped right in the fray of things, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a great experience, a lot of learning. But prior to doing that, I kind of had a heart-to-heart with Joe, and I said, Joe, is there anything about racing that, from a safety aspect or anything that bothers you, mentally or anything, because I want to know what I was getting into. And he said, Rusty, there's something that absolutely just terrifies me beyond all fathoms of the imagination. And I said, well, what's that, Joe? And he said, losing.
Man after my own heart.
Exactly. I mean, that guy when you put him on a track, it's all business, and he's a really good driver, a fierce competitor, and very, very well respected in the racing community and amongst the guys up here in the Northwest.
Great guy. Frightens me a little, I have to tell you. All right, coming up, we're going to be talking to ACP. He's been doing the Alcan Rally. He's been up in the cold. We're going to have Rusty and Sparky back in the third segment. We're going to talk more, but you guys have some big news, right?
Yes, we do.
All right, big news going to be announced right here on Test Miles. It's FM News 101, KXL. You're listening to the show, which tells you all about automotive. Coming up next, we'll find out about the Alcan Rally. I'm Nick Miles.
Throw it in neutral and coast in with testmiles.com.
All right, staying connected with the automotive world. You're listening to our little car show. It's called Test Miles. Thank you for helping us head into our third year.
Good morning. The first fun fact of the day is BMW is celebrating its 100-year anniversary and have created a two-seater concept called the Wrap to celebrate.
I'll tell you, I just spent 6 days with BMW in California. There's a whole story there. Sean, what have you been driving this week?
Not a BMW. I was driving the Mazda 3 5-door Grand Touring, which is, it also comes in a sedan. Has a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder Skyactiv engine that produces 184 horsepower. Fuel economy on it is 27 in the city and 40 on the highway, but I was only getting 30 because I guess I have a little more lead foot than most people.
I know that.
I tried to get 40, couldn't do it.
It's like I tried not to eat fried food, couldn't do it.
I know it's hard
Same thing,
sometimes,
right? Yeah.
but hey, it's It actually has a lot of competitors depending on what class. If you're talking about the sedan or the hatchback, but Honda Civic, Nissan Sentra, Chevy Cruze, Honda Fit,
Toyota Corolla.
I mean, it's a tough segment, but I feel that it does compete with everyone. It has a beautiful interior. The styling on the outside actually has a decent look to it. The red paint that they put on is probably the best paint job in any car factory.
You know about the gun, right?
I know about the gun. We've talked about the gun multiple times, how they redesigned a whole gun to paint this red metallic paint on.
Yeah, every flex lies in the same direction thanks to this new paint gun.
But it's a beautiful paint. If you haven't seen it, we've talked about it multiple times on the show. You have to at least go check this out because it is probably one of the best red paint jobs out there. Comes in a bunch of different packages as well. iSport, iTuning, Grand Sport, S Grand Touring, some tech. They have the rear cross traffic alerts, lane departure warnings. The driving, it's a nice ride. It's comfortable. It doesn't to me, doesn't feel like the old Mazdas where it's all fun to drive, but it's a great, easy drive. I just wish it had a little more horsepower to it, or they'd bring
That's
back
why, the speed.
But they don't make the Mazda or the Mazda 3.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold your breath.
Well, I hope they do. Starting price with this is $17,845.
That's why it doesn't have all the power, because starting price is $17,000.
Well, it can get up into the 30s too.
Right.
So
that's if you want all of the extra bells and whistles.
But the interior on this car is, I think, the best feature. You get in and it's an all black and white interior and it looks nice. It looks elegant.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Sean. Well, Andrew Comrie Picard, or ACP, as he's better known, has competed in Rally America Series as well as the X Game Rallycross. And when he's not racing, he is doing things like producing car-themed television shows, introducing Top Gear USA. He's also on the BF Goodrich team. And he has a law degree and an MBA. Every 4 years, the Alcan Winter Rally gives thrill seekers the opportunity to test their grit on an 11-day journey through the treacherous paths of the Rockies and North America's northern landscape. As part of the Race X Games, athlete, pro driver, and a BF Goodrich ambassador, Andrew, ACP, has been racing this with his rally co-driver. And he hopefully has got back in one piece. ACP, the race ended yesterday, the day before yesterday. You just got home, right?
Well, we got finished with the race, but we're not done yet. We've still got another 3,000 miles to do and a run to the Arctic Ocean. So it's been a long run, and we've got more to go. Are
your toes? Can you still feel your toes?
It really varies. You know, you go up and down in altitude. We're in the Arctic Circle a couple of days ago. We'll be driving on the Arctic Ocean in a couple of days. Those are cold times, but then we come back down. We were in Anchorage yesterday, and wasn't so bad.
It's only minus like 50 in Anchorage, right? It's not...
Anchorage actually was pretty pleasant just now, but we go through such a wide range of conditions that's part of the challenge.
Let's talk about this because you're on this BF Goodrich team. You had non-studded tires on this event. How did that go? Because I'm anticipating. I had lots of people go, "He's crazy. He's gonna kill himself. He'll never make it." What happened? Give me the scoop.
Well, I'll tell you, we've gone through some really, really tough conditions, and I'm a big advocate of using winter tires for the winter season. And being a Canadian originally and a guy who did a lot of snow rallying and was competitive at that, I have a real belief in winter tires and in studded tires also. But we did this as sort of a challenge to ourselves on the new BF Goodrich All-Terrain KO2, which is sort of the latest iteration of the famous all-terrain tire. And we said, hey, I'll bet we can go all the way to the Arctic Ocean on that, all through the different conditions from Seattle all the way to Tuktoyaktuk on the ice roads, 120 miles, last 120 miles is on the ice roads, doing it on the all-terrain. And what we found actually is that with advances in the technologies in this tire in particular, we haven't had a problem the whole way. Other cars have gone off the road. Cars with studded tires have actually crashed, gone off the road on the Dalton Highway, and we're going to go up to the Dempster Highway now. But we've had no problems at all.
I am amazed at that because a lot of people who've done this Alcan Rally year after year were predicting absolute failure for you, and the tires brought you through.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I drank the BF Goodrich Kool-Aid a long time ago, and have been for the last 10 years or so. I've only competed on BF Goodrich, and it got me an X Games medal and a North American Rally Championship and a Baja 1000 win. So the fact that they have skills in so many areas, the engineers are able to build these tires that are so confident in all these different surfaces. I wasn't worried going all the way up and doing this. We've actually been doing some ice solo time trials. We've been up on the ice road truckers, highways, and so on. And really, we haven't had a bobble the whole way. I don't think the traction control on the Jeep Wranglers even kicked on.
And there's the trophy for you, because I'm a big believer in, if it works, I scream and shout about it. And obviously you found a tire that really makes a difference out there, and you can have a good time with, and you can actually stay alive. What was the scariest moment for you of this whole trip?
That's a good question. We were up on the Dalton Coldfoot, which is north of the Arctic Circle, about 67 degrees north on the way to Dead Horse, which is the end of the road at the Prudhoe Bay ice fields. And the weather came in. You're up on this incredible sort of barren landscape. It looks like a Dr. Seuss landscape with these stunted over trees with rime ice on them. And there's a few big rigs hauling down at 80 miles an hour and playing chicken with you. And this is where a couple of members of our group went off the road. When you're up there, it's late in the day. It's getting dark. The weather's coming in. You realize nobody else is on the road. It's just kind of shutting down. You realize how hung out there you are. And in that case, you really got to rely on your wits, your driving skill, and the equipment you have under you. So our next phase, we're leaving now from Whitehorse to go up to Tuktoyaktuk, Inuvik and Tuktoyaktuk, which are native communities, on the Arctic Sea, the Beaufort Sea, the Arctic Ocean, and we're going to be alone. It's just us in the Jeep Wrangler with the BFGs, and we got to know that we can rely on it because we've got survival gear with us, we got satellite beacons and phones, but it's the best thing to do when it's a nerve-wracking situation is stay calm and use all your skills and experience. That's what we're doing. But it's putting ourselves out there. It's an adventure. I
live vicariously through you, my friend. ACB, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and congratulations on competing in the rally. If you want to know more, just Google this guy. He's pretty amazing, and hopefully I'll get a chance to cross your path very soon. Coming up, we're going to talk more about what's going on in Shelton, Washington, and the motorsports team up there. Big news coming out of there. Plus, we'll tell you how we tested some projects and some products and how they did. This is Test Miles. I'm Nick Miles.
It's Test Miles on FM News 101. Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. TestMiles.com.
Keeping you connected to the automotive world. You are listening to Test Miles Automotive Radio. We'd like to thank you for being part of the Automotive Nation. For more fun facts about cars, you can go to our Twitter page. Of course, we're just Test Miles.
BMW's logo, BMW, stands for Bavarian Motor Works, and the blue and the white represent the Bavarian flag.
And happy birthday, by the way. BMW, 100 years old tomorrow. How many people do you know that are 100 years old?
Brad.
Apart from Brad, I thought 100 years old. All right, we're talking about Ridge Motorsports Park in Shelton, Washington. Rusty is here along with Sparky. Now, you have some big news to announce. You guys are going to break the mold. So in your own words, tell us what the big news is.
Yeah, break the mold. So, I'm not the best with words, but so what's going on is my partner Joe Mankey and myself have teamed with Gerald Lowe Low Group Racing, and we formed the Northwest's newest motorsports team called Motorsport USA. And you can check them out on Facebook at Motorsport USA. And basically, it's a team that we're basing right here out of the Ridge, in conjunction with the Ridge, and we want to bring professional racing and professional racing series back to the Pacific Northwest, and to the West Coast. So we got a big market share up here, and we see the need to be able to tap in and showcase some of the talent. We got a lot of good driver talent, and we've got a really good conference racing following up here in the Pacific Northwest. And, these guys can compete with anybody. They can compete with the East Coasters and the rest of the guys in the nation. So what we want to do is we want to bring together, from a very professional aspect based out of the track, this motorsports team and get us on the map.
If we think about the Northwest, we're a pinnacle of racing. I mean, racing history was made here, especially drag.
Oh, yeah.
Drag racing, a lot of the cars that formed the current drag and some of the NASCAR history came out of the Northwest. They were built here, they were designed here, they were road tested here. So really what you're doing is giving us a rebirth. And we got some great drivers here. Cindy Lux, of course, is here. And we got, what's the name of that short guy? Kyle Keenan, that's right. Yeah, he's here too. So if you take short drivers, he might be into it as well. So there's a whole bunch of guys here in the Northwest that are like good drivers. And I know there'll be you're going to have a list of applicants to join the team.
Yes, yes,
so
we are.
You have a car, presumably.
Yes, we've actually accommodated a FRS, and so what we want to do is we want to bring the FRS up to speed, and we'd like to contend that in the IMSA Continental Tire Challenge, running the ST class. And
wait. That's the same class that Porsche runs in, right?
Yes, it is.
With an FRS.
With an FRS.
How's that going to work?
Well, let's just say that yesterday we did the initial shakedown and test of the car at the Ridge, and in the A group run class, we ran 5 different drivers through the car because we were doing an initial shakedown and we kind of want to get a wide range of driver input. Right. And there was a 911 Turbo out there that tried all day long to pass that car and couldn't do it.
Really? That is. That's a bit scary now. I think Porsche are going to have to start listening to what you guys are up to. Sparky, you there for some of the build. How does the car look?
First of all, it's bright yellow.
You can't miss it, right?
Yeah, and Kyle is not as tall as he thinks he is. So we spent a lot of time.
My Facebook's going to be blowing up now, by the way.
Spent a lot of time with him yesterday. I'll just give you a quick brief. We received the car, and then actually one of the guys from Scion drove it for a while as a stock. And we had one of the cars from PSI, which was a super stock, and we were chasing him with cameras. And it really performed quite well just as a stock rig. So it went to Gerald Lowe. They took out all the interior and stripped it down to basically anything that was not absolutely needed was out. We took 300 pounds off the car. Came back, did a roll cage, beautiful job of the roll cage, single seats, digital dash, etc. And then went through the shocks and suspension, and we decided after everybody chimed in, they went to supercharge. So at the dyno, we were told that it was pulling 253 at the rear wheels.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know what the crank was, but yesterday they told me somewhere in the 270. And that was really the boost that they needed to make this work because it came out of the box, I think, at 195. So, they picked up a lot of horsepower.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of modification.
Anyway, we were also at the auto show with it, so people got a chance to look at it, and some of the comments were, "Whoa, this is a real race car,
right?" And
it looks great. It's very simple and direct. Sounds great. We were out at the track hanging cameras on it with Dominic Cicero and Rusty and Joe, and everybody got a chance to get in and drive. So we've got footage of all of them.
You're going to post that soon?
Yeah, you know what? There's a destination for it. It has to be edited today, but after that, we'll maybe take some snips and put it up on. All I can tell you is it's an ear-to-ear grin every time they get out, and we got a lot of that dialogue because it was natural, and it was actually how the guys felt when they came out of the car.
Now, one of the things about the FRS that I had experienced when I test drove the car when it first came out was at low speed, or at least from starting, that there wasn't that much torque. It needed more revs to give it higher torque. So you guys have presumably fixed that from the street version of the car, right?
Yeah, it's got a little bit better torque curve on it, and it's consistent throughout the entire deal. Right now we've got it rev limited at 7,300, and it's pulling power all the way through. So it's still building power at 7,300. It just starts to kind of flatline there. The best part about what we've got going right now is the reliability factor of it. We've got a very solid platform in the FRS, and we were able to build upon that platform from a performance and handling perspective.
Right.
But the reliability that we think we're going to get out of this is where it really counts.
You're going to make fans of motorsports who weren't fans already, because now they have something to follow in the Northwest, right? I mean, we have a few teams. We have some very good teams here, but now you have some serious contenders who are like breaking the mold with this car. Let me ask you, when does the first public appearance happen of the car?
Well, the first race we're actually going to enter into is the IMSA Continental Tire Challenge Laguna Seca race, and that will happen April 29th, I believe.
All right. So maybe what we could do is set up a phone call and check in with you guys around the race and find out, how the team is doing and how people are doing and what's going on with that. Why did you end up choosing the FRS as the car that you wanted to race? Because it doesn't seem like an obvious choice to me. Like, if I'm looking at that class, like, I'd list off 5 cars and it's not in the top 5.
Well, no, it's not. And, with racing, it seems to be status quo, to go to certain car, certain manufacturer. Everybody's kind of doing the same thing. And what we wanted to do is break the mold. We wanted to take something. We knew that the FRS was a great platform, and we knew it was something good to start with, because we'd run it in the stock form, and it's a great car. It talks to you a little bit, when it gets up on the edge, and it's easy to collect if you get a little bit out over the edge there. And we thought that it would be a great platform to build on, and being able to get out there and break that mold and show what the capabilities of our team is. And that's really what it boils down to, is the team aspect of it.
Right.
It's based out of the Ridge, but it's really the group of guys that we've got together, and even having Sparky as part of it, having the film aspect of it and the documentary aspect of it and whatnot.
That's really important, because you can follow a race team on social media, but to get the inside scoop on what's going on, and the fact that Sparky and the team have so much experience in filming, like on road and those type of things, is we can get all those things that we see at NASCAR all the time, and we're going to see it with you, right?
Exactly. And and that's a lot of what we're doing. Is the team is, we can utilize the fact that we own our own testing facility, our own track. We have our own high performance driving school. We have our own film crew here at our disposal with MPS HD and Lorman HD. And then, of course, bringing all these people, which we feel are the best of the best in the Pacific Northwest, together at Motorsport USA. It's really a neat challenge to be able to bring something up like the FRS that has the potential that it has, and be able to bring it up and make it compete with the Porsche Caymans and the
Z4s or the 6 Series now, and those kind of cars. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's just definitely turned some heads.
I'm super excited about this. Is there somewhere that people can go to find out more information about the car?
Yeah, right now we're kind of posting everything and bringing it up on our Facebook page at Motorsport USA on Facebook. And we're going to, that's the best place to follow. We'll have our formal announcements and things of that nature, and then pictures and videos and stuff like that. And like Sparky said, he shot a bunch of stuff yesterday, and we'll probably be throwing some clips up over the next few days.
Yeah, come on, Sparky, get it going. We want to see how this car does.
12 cameras. I was by myself.
Really, 12 cameras. I have a feeling you're running from one camera to the other. That's awesome. So, Motorsports USA?
Motorsport
USA with no S. Check them out. Facebook. You can catch up what's going on April 29th. We're marking our calendars as we speak, making sure that we see you at that race at Laguna Seca. And I can't tell you, I give you as much luck as is possible from this show with that first race. And I have good feelings for you.
We appreciate it. And we love being part of your show.
Yeah, and you keep us up to date. Like, you have a place here anytime you want it.
Definitely.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, guys. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk about some product we've been testing. We've been putting it on cars, and the result, pretty amazing. That's Ryan from Afterglow is here to tell us about a new product made right here in the Northwest. I'm Nick Miles. This is Test Miles.
It's Test Miles on FM News 101.
From our studios, Test Mile Studios, America's car radio show. You'll listen to it right here. And I'm your host, Nick Miles, joined by Sean Walker, Jennifer, and myself, and Ryan as well. What's our last fun fact of the day, Jen?
The first car which BMW successfully produced was the Dixie. In 1929, it was based on the Austin 7 from Austin Motor Company.
You know what? That's Austin 7 was one of my favorite cars, but I haven't driven a Dixie yet. I have to find out more about that. All right, Ryan is here from Afterglow. He's our product tester. He tests a lot of the aftermarket products for your vehicles. We'll be talking to him in just a minute, but I also want to tell you about the Kia Sorento, which I have been driving. This is Kia's mid-size SUV. It is a smart, welcome vehicle in its class. I would say probably one of my favorite non-luxuries in the class. The Explorer as well is one of my favorites. It has a welcoming light, a panoramic sunroof, towing capacity of 2,000 to 3,500, depending on the engine that you get. Departure angles, which are very good for a little off-roading, but not some mild off-roading. It's not a big off-road vehicle. Up to 290 horsepower. It has a 2-liter, a 3.3-liter, electric-controlled 6-speed automatic speedomatic shifter. Front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and gets up to 26 miles a gallon, 29 miles a gallon if you're lucky. I will tell you a few things about this vehicle which I think are great. First of all, it competes very, very strongly with its competitors. Love the Dodge Durango, which is in this class. The Journey is kind of in this class too. Honda Pilot, Hyundai Santa Fe, which is Hyundai's version of the car. The Ford Edge or the Ford Explorer is in this class as well. So there is a lot of competition here. It comes in 8 different trim levels, which is a lot. The L, the LX, the LX V6, the EX, the EX V6, the SX, the SX V6, the Limited, and the Limited V6. So basically...
Say that 10 times fast.
No, I'm not going to do it. It has the Uvo special voice activation in there. All these Kias are going to start to come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as well. It has the parking app. Uvo, by the way, is a really good system. It basically does all of the electronic limiting in your car. So you have geofencing. You can find out everything the car needs. You can do speech activation. It's kind of one of those. Best price you can get, $21,000 is about the starting price. $41,000, which is kind of more the price that I go for with all the bells and whistles. So highly recommended vehicle. Really like the new Sorento. It's one of my favorite cars. All right, Ryan's here from Afterglow. Ryan, what's the product you've been testing this week?
So this week we've been testing out a Best of Show Paste Wax brought to you by Griot's Garage.
I noticed when I saw this arrive in the office, it's like a tub of wax that you might use in the 50s.
Exactly. It's really thick. You definitely have to scrub it out of there to get it onto the car. But once you get it on there and haze it on there, it leaves the best shine I have ever seen.
Wow. And you detail cars for a living?
I do this for a living.
Right. So the best you've ever seen, but it's like old-fashioned-y.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to paste it on. You have to let it dry and then rub it off, or what do you do?
Yeah, you rub it on there real thick. You want to let it haze on for a couple of minutes, and it rubs off easier than any other wax.
When you do this, it's a sidebar question here. When you do this, do you do like one panel at a time?
I normally do one panel at a time just to see what it does.
And do you use that drill buffer thing to get it off?
I do not use a drill buffer. I use it all by hand, Mr. Miyagi style.
Really? Because I'm a lazy son of a gun, and I would be using the drill thing.
And that's why your car is now wrapped, because of all the scratches that are on the vehicle.
Oh, wait a second. So those drill polishers, that you're saying they're no good?
Yeah, I definitely don't suggest using the drill polishers because they're just spinning in one circle. I use a dual action orbital polisher, which means it's moving in a circle.
The dual action orbital is your hands?
To remove it with my hands, my dual action polisher to place it on there.
Right, so that goes backwards and forwards?
Yeah, it goes in a circle and moves all together. It's dual action, so there's no possible way of swirling anything or scratching anything.
Yeah, I know. I would use a dual action too.
Definitely.
I often do. But so you're saying that out of all the products you've tested, this has the best shine?
Definitely, and it can be layered on before, after sealant. It's a really versatile product.
This is new from them, right?
Yeah, it's brand new from them.
Garot's are sort of an up-and-comer, especially in the show circuit. I mean, they've been around for a while, but they're doing some really high-end products, right?
Yeah, they only are doing high-end products. They work specifically with Ferraris and all this kind of stuff. I'm watching a lot of videos online of them working with these cars specifically and not just your everyday old 90s car. They're only doing this on this high-quality
paint. I think
paint.
That was aimed at you, Jen.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Poor Jen. She has an old 90s. She's complaining about her gas bill being $400 a month this week. I told her to buy a smaller car. She said, I'm not getting rid of my truck. She's
or my Camaro.
You don't want to wrestle with Jen, by the way. She leaves scars on guys. She's a tough cookie, and she likes her cars. All right, so good to test. Do you know how much it is off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head. I do know that it's cheaper than a lot of paste waxes, and it works better than most of your base
All right.
products.
I really like that. Don't forget to go to the Motorsport USA guys' Facebook page. That was some good news today, finding out they formed the new race team there. We will be back next week with another packed show. We're going to be talking to Kia. We're going to have somebody from Ford on the show talking about new products and how they own some of the marketplace. A lot of stuff going on Test Miles. We're here 24/7, of course, at testmiles.com. Check out our new video of the Kia Sportage, which is online, and also the new Mini Convertible on our Nick J. Miles YouTube page. I look forward to talking to you next week. Until then, be safe out there.
Test Miles, like NASCAR, but with one right turn. Testmiles.com.